Hello, and welcome to the video explanation of your first assignment. This week, you will be completing a project I call Charting Civilizations and Primary Sources. And there are two parts to this written assignment. Um, I want to go through and just explain what you're going to be doing and give you a brief example. You will create this document as a Word document and submit your response by Sunday. So, the first thing you're going to do is you are going to click on this link and choose the regions and civilizations listed below. So, we're going to look at primary sources from Persia, Egypt, Nubia, Mesopotamia, and Israel. And it's important to remember what a primary source is. A primary source is a piece of evidence produced at the time of a historical event. So, a primary source can be diary entries, images such as cave drawings, letters, laws like Hammurabi's Code. It does not have to be written, but typically many primary sources are. They can be oral stories, folk stories, a variety of things. But what makes a primary source primary is that it is produced at the time of the event. So you're going to click on the link, and this is going to take you to Fordham University's Internet Ancient History Sourcebook, where it is a collection of primary sources from our time period. So I want you to take a look at different regions. So here is Mesopotamia. If I click here, I get a variety of different types of sources that I might look at. Say I want to look at Sumeria. I can also click Epic of Gilgamesh. And we start to see an example of a primary source from ancient Mesopotamia. And of course, this one is about the Great Flood within the Tigris and Euphrates rivers, and how it really tested the idea of immortality by humans. So that would be an example of a primary source there. You could also pick something from Babylon. We have used the Code of Hammurabi before, but you might want to look at the language in this yourself to really discover it. So you are going to pick a primary source from each of these places. Tell me what you picked, what it's about, and put a sort of explanation of the context, right? And you can think about the context as similar to a setting. When does it take place? Where? What are the particular details involved? You want to provide a primary source using this source book for each of these empires. So that's the first part. And the goal of this, obviously, is to not only understand how to use primary sources and begin to implement them within your own research. But you remember, I'm still in Mesopotamia. So I'm going to do this for all of those different regions, right? I'm going to look at Egypt, Persia, Israel. I think that's all. But go back and check for each region. And then you are going to create a chart using those same regions with these categories or characteristics involved. So this is what your chart is going, oh, sorry, that is the wrong thing. This is what your chart will look like. And I attached an example of this in the module, but you want to create something like this, right? Where you have on one side the regions, Egypt, Mesopotamia, Nubia, Israel. Again, this is a little bit different. So don't use this exact chart, but you want to use the layout of the chart. So you want to put your empires on the left side and then your categories up here. And I think the categories are fairly similar. What's the river or freshwater system for each? What's the system of social hierarchy? What type of religion do they have? What's their political structure? Do they have writing? Do they have codified laws? And of course, codified laws are written laws. So you want to do this so you can begin to effectively compare and contrast. Remember, whether you are in this class or perhaps in English or political science, when you compare two things, you must also offer the contrast. So here, the chart is going to help us do this effectively. So you can start to make inferences and assertions about what these empires share in common and what are the particulars that really start to divide different civilizations as they are forming. Now, again, if you look at this, we are just focused on the Afro-Eurasian world. These are all empires that are either surrounding North Africa and the Nile or the broader Mediterranean part of the Afro Asiatic world. We are focused on a very small part of the world. We will eventually incorporate other parts and other civilizations around the world, including China. We are talking this week also about India, although that isn't included in this chart. And we will also discuss in much more depth the empires of the Western Hemisphere. So this assignment is focused very much on just a very specific part of interaction between all the way from Persia to Nubia, which is sort of the southernmost part of our focus today. So these are the two parts of the assignment. This assignment, again, is due Sunday. Please make sure you have both parts. You want to submit this as a Word document. Let me know if there are any questions, issues, or concerns.